Welcome to this overview of Sidebar, the features, the different pages, parts of the code base on the site, just to help you get a better understanding of how everything fits together. Now, first of all, there might be some small changes between what you see here in the video and what's in the code base, and that's because this is a living code base, which is a production app, so things might change, over time. But the main things shouldn't change too much. So let's go over the features of Sidebar very quickly. This is the homepage. It lists links that people can submit about design. There's also an area here for people to submit their email and sign up for the newsletter. And you can scroll. There's this fancy layout that switches between left and right, but that's more of a CSS thing. And you get a browse archives links. That's actually just a link to a different page. So it's not really pagination or anything like that. And that's the same content, but with a simpler layout, and it just keeps going. So this time it does have, a pretty simple pagination that just loads more content. So what else do we have? You can click on a domain to filter pages by domain or links by domain. You can click on a date to do the same for a date, and same with article, category, sorry. And all these use the same template or component rather. They're just like different views of the same component, which is pretty handy because it means we can reuse our pagination and so on. You also have a dedicated page for categories, which in the future might be merged with a search page, but for now we just have this simple list of categories, which, by the way, uses the same data loading logic as this. So even though the layout, is completely different, and this one has pagination and this one doesn't, the actual logic for loading the data from the server via the GraphQL API is the same, and that's a theme that we'll find a lot in Vulkan, reusing these common components, hooks, and so on. So what else do we have? We have a page for submitting a link. Pretty simple form, and again, that same basic form component will be reused in other places. And then we have this sponsorship flow, which starts with just a page outlining the way sponsorships work. You can submit a link. So let's submit Sidebar itself. You get a quick preview. Here you can add some more stuff, and it lets you pick a date here, and then you can complete your payment using this Stripe checkout widget. So I won't do that for now. You can also edit it if it works. Okay, and you can see what I was talking about, where we reuse the same forms throughout Vulkan apps. And that's about it for the user-facing part of the site. There's also a leaderboard for the best submitters, the best users, and the best domains. Oh, and we do have RSS feeds and a REST API. So it's just two ways of seeing the last 20 posts, either as JSON via the API or as whatever RSS is, XML, I guess, here. You do have some static pages about, and yeah, that's about it for the user-facing part of the site, as I said. But then you have the admin. The admin obviously is not accessible by users, but it's still the same app. So Vulkan apps are monolithic, meaning they're it's all the same code base, and this might change in the future. A nice improvement could be splitting out the front end part or the user facing part rather into like a static app or something like that. But for now, it's all one code base. You can see the link I just submitted here. I'm gonna go ahead and delete it. So this is the main moderation interface where I can edit links and also approve them or mark them as spam, or sometimes, you know, I don't want to approve the link, but I want to suggest to the user that they could take out a sponsorship. So I have this shortcut to do that. Other admin areas include the categories, dashboard, newsletters. So this is where I can schedule newsletters, or rather I can do it from here by selecting the posts that I want to be in a newsletter first, then clicking this, and once that's done it will appear here, and I can preview the result, review the data used to generate it. So the data gets fed into a template, which then generates the actual newsletter, and I can get the code. Currently, I copy paste the code into my email service, Email Octopus. In the future, though, if they add an API, you would just have like a send button here that would do the work behind the scenes. But for now, you know, it takes 30 seconds to just copy paste it. And then there's some other dashboards that are not quite there yet, kind of work in progress, such as this one to review user logs with the headers, or rather access logs. So I can review the different GraphQL queries and etc. And you do have a user dashboard, but I'm not going to show it because it probably has private information, and also it's not quite finished yet. So there you go, a quick overview of the various sidebar features, at least when it comes to the app's UI itself. It's fairly simple, but there is quite a few things going on behind the scene, like, you know, generating those newsletters, handling posts, the checkout flow. So I'll talk more about those in future videos, but at least you should get a good idea of how Sidebar works and what it does. So stay tuned for more, and thanks for checking out these videos.